LL Cool J, one of the hip hop pioneers, he talks about doing an appearance on Apple Music Le Code. He said he's going to humbly say that, and he said he means this. One day he will wake up, one day people will wake up and realize that LL Cool J is the most important rapper that ever existed. So, we got to talk about this one. We got to discuss this and kind of break this down, give context behind it, being able to just give a all around context for this subject right here. So LL Cool J, he did coin the phrase GOAT, which stands for greatest of all time. And now it's used in every avenue other than hip hop. It's used in sports. It's used in other genres. It's used in every avenue you can think of, right? Everybody uses that phrase. I don't know if he actually had got it trademarked or not, but he should have, because he could have made, tons of money off of it. But he's the first person that was actually known publicly to use the term GOAT, greatest of all time. And he referred that to himself as the greatest of all time. And like I said, as a pioneer, he has right to that. And he has influenced a lot of different artists. But let me give you a little background. So he was Def Jam's their first official artist, like whether it be hip hop, R&B, country, whatever. He was their first official artist. So, and just to give my reasoning for why he has a case for why he's one of the most important. He didn't say best hip hop artist. He said most important. So to play on those words, when you say most important, so when you think of an MVP, most valuable player, it's always broken down in this context. You can't tell the story of that year for an MVP. You can't tell the story of that year without that person, essentially. So when you say he's the most important person in hip hop, can you tell the story of hip hop without LL Cool J? And that answer is a firm no. LL Cool J is one of the most important. It's difficult for me to say the most important because, like I said, I would need more information from every artist and behind the scenes type things, and which I don't have, and we might not never have. But from me on the outside looking in, LL Cool J is one of the most important. He has to be in the top 3 of artists of all time. Just to give a rundown, he started off on the movie Crush Groove, which is a movie about hip hop. He was in the background moving boxes, most noticeably. So he put in work early that had nothing to do with hip hop and was able to become one of the biggest stars. Now, just other than hip hop, when you say the most important person in hip hop, what trends have you set for other artists, and how have you helped other people expand above the genre and above the music to help people be more seen, to bring more light to hip hop? So he has the biggest case for that argument because he transitioned and took risks that most people didn't. So, for example, I Need Love. Hip hop didn't really incorporate love or feelings into hip hop. It was mostly about who's the best rapper. It was about battling. He dropped that album, he dropped the song I Need Love, kind of changed the game. People were able to talk about love and be able to talk about different things other than just battling in hip hop and about your love for the art. You were able to talk about your family and different things like that. LL Cool J kind of set that trend. And he was one of the first artists to do so, if not the first artist to do so. He had a song called I Can't Live Without My Radio. So it was just about his love for things that's in his personal life. He was one of the first people to do that. Then later down the line, you start seeing people rapping about their Adidas, their Nikes, whatever materialistic things they were attracted to or drawn to, so to speak. Also, LL Cool J was one of the first, if not the first artist to transition to acting, to professional acting, not just doing like hip hop movies and things like that. He was on actual movies and TV shows, Deep Blue Sea, Any Given Sunday. He's doing CSI shows, I believe, now on CBS. He's able to transition. He's known more for acting now than he is hip hop because of the younger generation don't remember him as a hip hop artist. But I would inform kids that your favorite hip hop artists have been influenced by LL Cool J and have openly done so. And let me give you a rundown of those artists. You might know a 50 Cent, you might know a Nelly, you might know a Ludacris, Eminem, Fabulous, Cameron, Jay-Z, DMX. These artists have all expressed how LL Cool J influenced them to be an artist. hip hop artists specifically. All of these artists have mimicked him. Now, I think most notably a 50 Cent with the body type that he has paused with, his subject matter is similar to an LL Cool J. Even in one of his shows, the theme song or the promo song for his show, Raising Canaan, was Mama Said Knock You Out. And that's another thing that LL Cool J had. He had catchy songs that brung people who weren't necessarily hip hop fans over to the genre because he had these songs that were pop songs that transcended hip hop. He was one of the first artists to go pop, so to speak, and actual to switch up and be able to take these risks because back then artists weren't making songs like that as much. It was more gangster rap. It was more street. He brung in the casual hip hop fan, so to speak. So if you wasn't from the streets and you were urban, you're from another culture, you heard Mama Said Knock You Out. And then when you heard that, you were like, wow, that's a pretty good song. And then it might bring you over to the genre, similar to what an Eminem did for Lose Yourself. A lot of people I know despise hip hop, but they love Eminem. I mean, I'm not gonna get into the reason why they love Eminem opposed to other hip hop, but that song brung in. It'll be too easy to say that, but he did bring other people in with these pop type hits that actually brung people over to hip hop, whether it be for their own self serving reasons or not. That's a different story. I'll talk about that later. But he did bring people over for that. LL Cool J, like I said, he goes back all the way to the 80s. He started this thing when there was really no money in hip hop. He did it for the love of the game. And that's another reason, like, artists today, it's about the money and about how can you transition to something else. LL Cool J didn't go in the mindset of transitioning to acting. It kind of just fell by his side and he just ran along with it and became very good at it. And like I said, he's a perfectionist and he believed that acting was a challenge for him. So he took that challenge and ran with it. And he's, known as one of the greatest for doing so. But like I said, just to say it all, LL Cool J you can't tell a story of hip hop without LL Cool J. Otherwise, you're doing a disservice to hip hop and to music in general. LL Cool J will go down as the greatest of all time just from, like I said, being a pioneer and just taking risks and taking chances. And to be successful, there's no reward without risk. And he took huge risks, whether it be music or, just transitioning to acting.